Okay, I think we're here. I think we're live.
Right. We done did it.
We did it. I didn't think we could without Sarah.
Right.
This is our first alone with I like feel a little lost without her.
Right. Right. It's like a kid when their parents first go out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you guys home alone. Don't burn the house down while I'm
Exactly.
holding a box of matches. You know what
I'm like, oh, we're a minute late. Oh no, we're burning the house down. For everybody who didn't see the posts, Sarah is just feeling a little bit under the weather, but she is here and she's also here. She's in the chat. Say
Right.
hi to Sarah. Hey Sarah. Also, she gave us a super. Thank
Oh wow.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the super, Sarah.
Appreciate that.
Getting us started. Of
Locking down
course,
that support.
do what?
Locking down that support.
Yes, yes. And of course, you all probably already know, but we have me, Reality Amanda. We've got James.
Hello.
James, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. I'm doing excellent. I can't complain. Feeling good, feeling strong, have the vigor. So feel awesome. How are you?
I feel good. The same. I feel like we're rubbing in Sarah's face how good we're doing now.
Right.
But Sarah, that's not on purpose.
I feel great.
Oh, I
How
could
are
run
things with you?
a
Right.
marathon. No, I was truly there last week and I was like, oh yeah. I was telling James before we got on that like on the Monday before we were scheduled, I was like, what if I just have to leave every 5 minutes? Like that's gonna be really awkward and gross kind of.
Right.
So
We don't know how this is gonna go.
yeah. Well, let's jump right in. What did you think of the big part 2 wedding special?
I liked it. You know what? I like the closeness of the family. I thought it was a different. Like I said, even in last week's episode, it's nice to see something a little different from this particular franchise because normally it's a complete dumpster fire. And in this particular instance, you got to see more of the family interaction and the family dynamic, which I'm sure will be one of the things we talk about, particularly with McKelty and Aspen and how they got along during the course of Aspen's speech when she had little slick stuff to say to McKelty.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah, so, what did you think about it? What was your overall thought?
Oh, what did I think? This is
Yeah.
this is like overall how I would describe and feel about part 2. All
I'll
right, I
tell
don't want
you,
us
right?
to get copyright bugged, but yeah, I was shocked, James.
Yeah, yeah,
Shocked. And hello to everybody in the chat, by the way. Thank you everybody for showing up.
right.
Let us know in the chat what you all thought about the episode overall. I know Barb is saying McKelty is a camera whore. Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, I was shocked, James. I came out of the episode and I was like, wow, I knew Christine was, Randy, but I didn't
Right.
know how Randy Christine was.
Well, speaking of leaving something unattended for like long periods of time, like homegirl hadn't had maintenance on that thing for a little bit. So, you know, David Woolley came in, he became the maintenance man and he was taking care of his business. So I wasn't like, it was kind of one of those things like, wow, Christine, what's going on? But at the same time, I totally get it. I totally get it. I understand. You know what I mean?
David is and forever will be the maintenance man.
Yeah, yeah. Homer
Just
might be in trouble. David, make sure you drink plenty of orange juice, brother, because you are.
she was like the whole day. She was like, you're gonna
Right.
like, oh my goodness. I hope that's why they were eating oranges. They showed them feeding each other oranges. They're like, we need to get some energy in here. We're gonna need lots of energy for tonight.
Yeah, I know. Homeboy need that. He didn't eat his bowl of Wheaties because my man's gonna be in for a championship bout.
Thank you so much for the super ripped pantyhose. I legit love you guys. James and Amanda are so funny and insightful. AF. I felt like I needed to shade my virgin eyes during that episode. Should we just jump to that part? Should we? I mean, one of the things that made it so shocking is, I mean, it was partly, it was like so great, but then I definitely noticed, like, oh, there's children. Someone shield their eyes.
Like, oh shoot! Like this thing just went like from like G-rated, maybe PG-13 at worst to like this is R-rated. You got to make sure you have parental consent. Like, what are the kids doing here? Maybe you're not good parents because the kids are here. Like, it was insane. But at the same time, I knew it was coming, so it wasn't like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she did this, because I knew it was going to happen. But seeing it, and especially for as long as it went, I think was a little like, oh wow, okay, we're doing this. We're totally doing this.
Yeah.
And so
when I first saw it, she just gives him the straddle hug, and then they like cut to something else, and I was like, oh, that's not as, that's not really that much of a, and then I'm like, oh, there's more, she's dragging the arm over his chest, she's coming around for more.
Right. Well, I mean, it was kind of when she started hiking the skirt up. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they can't wait. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get excited about a thing, you plan it for it, and you want to open your presents early. Like, it is what it is. I'm not, when it comes down to it, though, I'm not as off put about it. These are grown folk. Like, they're going to do what grown folk do. But this is also kind of, I think it was a little later. They had an instance where during McKelty's Patreon, I think they came in and they're like, oh, who's upstairs? I don't know. That dance, that lap dance, that's why you don't go in a grown folks' house unannounced. You don't know what you walking into, player, because these are grown folk. Their kids are almost out the house. If Truly's out playing with her friends, there could be anything happening in that crib. Like, these are not first season Sister Wives. Shit is different. You know what I mean? It's a different situation, which is awesome, because they, like, when they first started, they wouldn't talk. They were like, oh, we don't drink. We don't talk about what's going on between us and our intimacy. Oh no, that is so crass and so disgusting. Now they like, you got Christine chugging beers. You got Janelle with wine cases behind her. You got Christine doing lap dances in public. She's slobbing this dude down, and you know what I mean? Every chance she get, like, I'm telling you, Sister Wives are going to be different.
Truly it is. Thank you for the super Emma, who says every kiss in this episode was awkward to me. What did you think? Did you think it was awkward? You just said you were like, hey, they're grown, or were there moments where you were like, oh, okay.
Well, it's kind of like in a weird way, because you watch Christine for so long. I think that some of the weirdness is, it's like watching your sister, get slobbed down by her boyfriend. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know you can do it. I know it can be done. I know it's a thing. And I know you guys are in love, and intellectually I can handle it. But it's like, wow, man, really? Every 2 seconds? Like, because he wasn't getting that far from her without her gripping him up, pulling him in for one,
She asked him for a kiss one time and he didn't hear it. I was like, oh, she's going to tackle you, David. You better give her that kiss. She is going to tackle you.
Oh, yeah, she's going to get it.
Thank you, Shisto Patel. Love you guys, especially Amanda's hat. Thank you, everybody. Right. I got this back in the day because I was really into Gentleman Jack, and this has come in handy. It's quite the hat.
It's popular.
Yeah. That was one of the things I walked away with overall. Thank Reality Squad, stop giving us, you're crazy. Thank you so much. Sarah's so awesome. She's in here. She won't stop giving us. Here, let's see what Sarah says. I'm no prude, but I cringed out loud. Sarah thought it was kind of cringe.
Well, like I said, it's like watching your sister or a close relative. Like, it's happening. Everybody's grown. But like, wow, okay, get a room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to see her happy, though, because as Janelle had said during the episode, because of the way Cody had treated her, which is ironic also in itself, because if you really think about it, we've been watching them for 18 seasons, and she has literally got more physical action in these 2 episodes than I've ever seen her over the course of the 18 seasons. Like David is like putting in work, whereas Cody was just kind of like peck on the cheek, bring her flowers and give her a hug like like he's her friend.
Yeah, he's like, here, let me air blow you a kiss.
Right.
You ate nachos.
And then slap it in the face. And I was like, what the shit? Like, this is not love and affection. Like, this is crazy. But apparently, there's no secret that these two are into each other. We'll say it that way. These two are into each other.
Yeah, and I totally was like, oh, they're taking it too far. But also overall, I was just like so happy for them. And the first part of the wedding special was just like I liked it, but it was like a little slow moving for me. And this, right. I mean, Christine was moving it along because every 5 seconds she's like, "Get over here, Dave! I'm gonna eat your face off." So right. I was pretty entertained by Christine's like teenage rabidness.
Oh, you know what? She loved him like a fat kid loved cake. She was all over, dude. And I can appreciate that because I love cake. So
me and you both, James. Thank you, Carolou, for the super. Carolou says Cody and Robyn's kiss was dry and pursed. She was eye-banging the camera during it too. This brings people before the live even started were commenting, asking us to compare the two kisses because they happened pretty close. There was one makeout sesh between Christine and David, and then sort of very quickly after that, the scene with Robyn, smushing Cody's face against her and then telling the cameras to go off. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's indicative. Let me switch my glasses so I have a better view.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can see.
Okay,
but with the two differences, I think it's actually indicative. Like, there's a lot of parallels if you look at it. Like, if I'm looking at this like I was a director and I was putting together a movie, I would look at this almost like the two parallels to show the differences in the relationships. In Christine and David's relationship, they're kissing out of passion, out of love, out of desire. But if you look at Robyn and Cody's kiss, it's more out of the advantageous, positioning where they're trying to manipulate or control the situation. So it's more out of control than anything else. So it's a utility form of affection as opposed to an affection to demonstrate emotional response to somebody, which is way different. But I think that in a lot of ways, it's indicative of their relationships. So David and Christine, they're in it for each other, whereas Robyn and Cody, they have a plan, and everything that they do is always kind of crafted or strategized on what they want to do and how they want to do it and how they want to be perceived, and using this affection to try to shoo people away. She used her affection to get Cody, when she talked about the best customer. So a lot of it is, I think, is manufactured that way. And that's just from the trying to put it together as in a show. So what were your thoughts on it?
Thank you, Indy Beth, for the super chat. By the way, I think that's a great point you made about how it's like everyone loves Christine, at least partly because she is not nearly as contrived. And like, she was imperfect this episode. Like, a lot of people were writing cringe just now in the chat at Christine. Right. And Cody and Robyn are so contrived, and it is about control and manipulation. And let us attempt to control how we're being seen right now. Let us pretend we're super happy. Let us, I thought theirs was much more awkward than anything Christine and David did. Because of other people were saying that Robyn was like looking at the camera. She definitely was doing some facial expressions while doing the forced kiss thing. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always creepy. Like, it's always creepy if somebody is kissing somebody with their eyes open, looking at somebody else. That's always like
Wait, you're not an eye opener when you kiss, James?
No, I'm not an eye opener, and I certainly don't, hard stare at another person, because, like, if it's a guy sitting there holding the camera, it's like, yeah, what's going on? You like what you see?
I'm not gonna lie, I've done
Advertising.
it. I've experimented just because I wanted to know what it's like. It's not natural though. I like the natural impulse
Right,
is like close your eyes and go off to the special
right. Be in the
romantic
moment.
place.
Yeah. As opposed to I want to see what's going on. You kiss people with their eyes open when you don't trust them. You know what I mean? When you go over their house and you're afraid to drink stuff. And then, all right, I don't need nothing to drink. And I certainly don't need nothing to eat. Thank you very much.
Michelle Woods, thank you for the super, says, did anyone notice the miserable, annoyed guest in a yellow or beige dress? She was at a table looking so bummed out. Did you notice this?
No, I didn't see it. Michelle Woods, what's going on? How you doing? No, I didn't notice it. I will have to look for it now. Now that Michelle mentioned it. But
No, I didn't.
something I got to tell you, some of the folks though on the especially the chat rock, these folks are detectives.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they see everything. Like there's not a whole lot of stuff that goes missed. I'm amazed. Like when I do the lives after the show, like how much stuff people actually pick up just watching the show. Oh, did you see? Did you notice this? Did you know?
Yeah.
They be on it. They be on it. So
I did notice Tony's parents holding one of the twins. That was fun seeing them there. Always good when the in-laws get along.
yeah, and that's kind of cool too. Like even with Caleb, he had mentioned that like, oh, we'll be in a group and like it'll be just as many of the woolly folks in the group as us, and we'll be talking and like, oh, we're going here, we're going there, and you're going to the after party. I'm not going if you're not going. So it's nice to see the blending of the family and the two of them getting along that way because there's so much like and the weird part again, like the contradiction of terms. Like if you have the Woolley family with Christine and her section of the Brown family being able to get along during this time and blend together. Then you have the Brown family who are an official family. Like these guys married into the family, technically brothers and sisters, step brothers and sisters, so on and so forth. And they have discord amongst each other where Robyn's kids don't really get along with the other 13 kids. And so it's very like to me again it's that it's very notable how easy it is for the Brown kids to get along with other people, but all of a sudden they can't get along with these 5 kids. So I think that's notable in itself.
Thank you, Robyn. Yeah, I would wonder how much of that is because of Kody and Robyn taking the lead on, well, now there's a line that's been drawn in the sand and, pushing that narrative to all the kids. I was thinking earlier today, I don't know if I was like writing notes for my video or what, but I was thinking about how Kody, I think it was because in part of the episode, there's like multiple moments where I was like, oh, Kody's going to hate that. And it's like things the kids are saying about how great David is. And some of them were really emphasizing like, this is a good man who is going to love our mom and treat her right. Like really emphasizing
Right.
it. And I was like, oh, Kody's going to hate that because he can't even stand McKelty defending his mom not being ugly. So I really feel like for Robyn's kids, they must know that they cannot show a hint of disloyalty to Kody. Otherwise, like they're out, they're gone.
Right. And I think that's an excellent point because you'll see that a lot of times in relationships where not to throw around the A word because I don't want to get smashed out, but when people are being mistreated, we'll say it that way, within these relationships, whether it's child or otherwise, a lot of times in order to evade problems with the person who is aggressive, you have that situation where they know what to say. They know the triggers. They know the signs. So they know they don't want problems. They don't want issues with their mom, their dad, or whoever. So they just avoid certain topics. And they know if those topics come up, you don't talk about it. So if somebody comes into the 3 of them, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, or the other 2 kids, the little ones, especially growing up in that household, and say, hey, Christine is amazing. They know that dad doesn't like Christine. And anybody who likes Christine is on the out.
He's going to be like,
oh, you got your bags packed. You better not say it. Yeah. Christine is horrible. Yep. So I agree with you. Like I think they set them up that way. And it's unfortunate because you don't allow them to have the type of relationships or form these relationships themselves with these other people, especially when you're talking about the relationship between the kids and how they get along with each other. I never turned my phone off. But you
Thank you
understand
so
what I
much,
mean?
Kate. Yeah, yes, absolutely agree there with everything. Thank you, Christina S., who says David's leg pop during the kiss was too funny. That was another high moment for David, I thought. What did you think of that?
Yeah. Well, I think that David is he's showing his personality more. Like, as they're moving into their own, and you're starting to see more of David. I think that that's part of his personality, where he's kind of a jokester, and because even with him like falling down and rolling and the whole nine, I think that that was a part of like who he is. Like he has kind of a quirky sense of humor, and I think that that's part of the quirky sense of humor, where he's just
Yeah.
trying to, I'm trying to be cute, and he is emphasizing heavily his like because I think that he realizes that Christine has deep wounds when it comes to Cody, and so he's emphasizing heavily trying to repair those wounds and those slights that she suffered from Cody. And I think that that in itself is commendable that he's aware of that and he's actually putting forth an effort to try to make her feel special, wanted, and desired, where she didn't feel wanted and desired because, she had, could you imagine having a boyfriend or a lover, get on TV and not only say, things didn't work out, I just can't be with him. But like, oh, I was never attracted to them. They were terrible. Breath stink. Oh, they were terrible in bed. Everything. Couldn't cook worth a damn. Seat was always up. Like it's just little stuff. It's just horrible.
He's just written her off as not valuable, not attractive, not loyal, and it is so upsetting. I can't imagine being her kids. That I think that's one of the reasons we're okay with or some of us, not all of us, but I'm okay with a little of the over the top affection, because you're right. It's like so you have so much empathy for the person who is being treated this way, or I do. I think a lot of us have empathy for like, oh no, that's horrible. I can't imagine. And, feeling obligated to stay there because of your faith, that's just, there's so many, empathetic moments we feel for Christine. Thank you, Tiffany H, for the super. She says, what is everyone's opinion? Was Cody and Robyn's kiss to stop cameras from rolling, or was it for Robyn to one up on Christine's wedding? Sarah is also being asked to respond in the chat here. What do you think, James?
I think it was to try to get the cameras to move on, for sure. I think that was her way of trying to control the situation, trying to control the conversation. We've seen this from her before, even as late as the Cody Pass thing, where they're having a conversation about how we're going to divide up Cody Pass, and Mary is like, well, I'm leaving and I'm going to leave the relationship and it's over. And then she gets up and walks off. And I think in my mind, what she fully expected to happen was the conversation was supposed to stop. Cody was supposed to get up off the bench and then chase her ass around the Cody poop pond for 10, 15 minutes. And that was supposed to stop everything. And that's just the way, like even down to like how they were going to divide the property. Oh, you don't talk now because you're not in the right state of mind. Like let the man say what's on his mind, so that way Mary know whether she got to talk to that attorney tomorrow or not. Whether she got to keep that appointment. Go ahead and say it. Do your worst.
Yes. One way that we have seen, and oh my goodness, the chat is going so fast. I was going to say yes. Mace Chill says, I agree with you, James. It's how she controls him. I totally agree. It's like it's a physical compulsion. Somebody on one of the subreddits posted a picture of Ariella doing something similar to Solomon from like a interview earlier of theirs, or a confessional.
Yes.
Where she's like sort of grabbing Solomon's face, and everybody was like wondering like, how often does Robyn like physically control Cody and tell him to shut his mouth? And by the end of the season, we're gonna have a pretty good montage of her shutting him up in these various physical ways.
Right. Which I'm not a big fan of. Like the whole physical, like putting your hands on people. I'm not a fan of that at all. Like that's even like as a guy, like one of my things is like, men don't put your hands on women, but at the same time, guys don't put yourself in a situation where somebody's physically assaulting you and you have to respond back in a physical manner. So as soon as that kind of thing starts, that's when you find that exit and you be out, because it's only going to get worse. And as I'm watching Robyn and she's trying to physically dominate and physically control Cody, I'm not saying that she's whipping on him or none of that stuff. I'm just saying that I don't like the physical presence where you create an environment where this type of behavior is okay. And you have these young kids seeing that and they take it and start to mix it together and figure out how they want to conduct their relationships. So it becomes problematic, if not just for Cody and Robyn, who may be able to differentiate now, but more so for Solomon and for Ariella. Because I remember the scene you're talking about. I think they were doing an interview in season 18 where the two of them were talking. And he said something like, "Oh, she gets on my nerves." She's like, "What did you say? You don't say that." And she's sitting like super close, and she's like face up, like right in his face or whatever. I'm like, "Whoa, back up a taste, homegirl." Like,
Yep.
like, you got to be up in my grill. Like, take it easy. But yeah, I remember what they were talking about, and I remember thinking, especially because she had got in trouble in season 17. This is how I get in trouble. But in season 17, like I remember everything. But in season 17, when they were getting off the bus for her first day of school, they said the teacher called and was like, "Oh, she doesn't know when to leave the other kids alone. Even though they're asking her to leave them alone, she keeps coming back and like wanting to be in their space or wanting to be in their faces and doesn't know how to give the kids their personal areas. Like she doesn't have boundaries that way." So it was just, I think it's indicative of how she's being raised, or what she's seeing at home, rather.
Yep. Thank you, Tanya, for the super. Tanya says, "I feel sorry for Robyn's kids. I hope someday the truth sets them free from Kody tentacles." Yeah, they're definitely growing up in a different world than the one that produced the OG kids, which all seem to be doing like pretty well, considering the turmoil in the family. Thank you, Sarcasm, for fun. I loved Janelle throwing shade at. Always good to see you, Sarcasm. You're here every week. You're so awesome. I love Janelle throwing shade at Christine and David, seeing them having the porch dream.
Yeah.
Yep. Janelle was calling the truth, like preaching a sermon in this episode. Just even down to when Janelle was like, it got a little weird. I was like, right. Janelle and I were on the same wavelength.
What did you think about the porch? Because that's where they're referring back to sarcasm. What's going on, sarcasm? She's referring back to the my sister wives on the porch with my sister wives watching grandkids. And now Janelle's like, yeah, I can totally see Christine on the porch with David watching the grandbabies, which essentially usurps Robyn's whole dream and fantasy.
I honestly, this like moment kind of like slipped past me a little bit, but now that you say it, I'm like reminded of it, and I think it must have been on purpose. Like Janelle's slick, Janelle's smart, she knows what's going on, and I assume that they filmed this. So they filmed this in October. Yeah, So the season had already started coming out yet, right? Let's see.
Well, no, because I think by the time they filmed it, I think they had already released the
premiere was August 20th.
The trailers. Yeah. So they had already released the trailers. So she saw her on the my sister wife. Like that was
that was definitely Janelle shade. Like absolutely.
Well, actually, I think it's also interesting too, because even speaking of like the contrary portions of it, it's interesting to me because one of the things that is annoying to me about Robyn is the fact that she usurps a lot of the dreams, fantasies, goals of the other wives. So if one of the wives says something during the course of the show, she'll take that idea and make it her own, almost like she did with Christine in that painting where she took Christine's family out and put her family in. Like, you know what I mean? She was doing that the entire time. So it was interesting to me to watch somebody else do it to her. And I would love to have been sitting in the room with her when she saw that on the show and just to see her reaction. I can't believe this, my dream.
Yeah, I think it might have been Sarah in the chat. Somebody was saying, like, we need a talk back with Cody and Robyn watching this wedding special. Like, all the cringy, terrible things they're going to say. Watch them react to all the kids being like, we're a family again.
Right. Well, I'm having fun. You're having fun. Hunter going crazy. They're all partying us, and it's ridiculous.
Yep, yep. What did you think about Cody saying like, "Oh, he seemed first of all, Cody is like a whole new Cody. He's all
Mm.
about the positivity, smiling every time we see him. Oh, I do wish I could be in that mosh pit. What do you think of that? Are you buying it?"
No, no. I think that Cody and Robyn have been on the image rehabilitation tour for the last 3 seasons now, and they're trying to rewrite history. He's trying to be the understanding, adult, mature partner who whose wife's the relationship is over. I hope she finds happiness. I hope she's able to continue on without me and my greatness. I hope she'll make it. Like that kind of thing. Like that arrogance is still there for me, and I can still taste it. And so I'm picking up on that, not liking it. In addition to that, it's just the idea that he's sitting there like you spent so much time so angry talking about how much you dislike her, you don't never want to be in a room with her, you can't see her, you can't talk to her, etc., etc. Even when you're sitting on that thing cutting down trees out of vengeance and anger because apparently you hate elves or whatever and fairies, like so yeah, they cutting down trees. Even then, he's still sitting there like ready to rag on Christine, and you could tell by Robyn's fear that he was going to say something inappropriate that they haven't moved on yet. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been afraid. What are you afraid of if he moved on?
Right. What is she afraid of? That's a good point. Good night, Sarah. Everybody wish Sarah good
All
night. I
right,
know a lot of you are already doing it. Thanks for being in the
yeah, feel
chat.
better. Feel
Yes,
better.
we wish her better. We will all three for sure be together again. I don't know exactly
All right,
when, but for sure at some point. Yeah, I mean, liar, liar, pants on fire. I don't buy
right,
it either. I totally think I don't think you can go, in that little of time from like, expressing what we all perceive as like, oh, he freaking hates her, like to like, oh, I wish you so well.
right,
Robyn, isn't putting as much effort in. Robyn's even worse, but I think they're both at that like, oh, I'm so happy for you
right.
guys. So happy.
I hope you have a good time and don't get sick on your honeymoon. Like this this is kind of that weird thing where for me, I'd rather people just be honest. So if you don't like me, I'm okay with people not liking me. But I'd rather people just be honest. It's better to have a true enemy than a false friend. I'd rather have people just come out and say, look, I hope your relationship fails miserably, and I hope I see you in a bar next week crying in a beer. Cool. I got that. Thank you.
Yes.
But for him to try to pretend like he's on her side and he's wishing the best for her, it only complicates things. And I think that it doesn't do him any favors because nobody's buying it. So even as he's trying to, part of the problem that Robyn, like part of the root problem, if you guys are listening, I'm gonna tell you what your problem is. Part of your problem, your root problem, Robyn and Cody, is that nobody trusts you. And so when you come out and you tell this lie, it only amplifies and verifies the fact that people are right for not trusting you. So you're not genuine characters on the show. I mean,
Nope.
point blank.
Thank you, Deborah Aviles. Deborah says, let's talk Jared. Lip sassy emoji. I call it the sassy lip emoji. That was wild because the editors choose to lay over a confessional of David, like kind of saying like this is like a son to him, and this guy who Sarah was in the chat earlier saying that it was David's neighbor, maybe, but
yeah,
like I had no idea Christine's wild lap dance was going to be preceded by this random guy Jared's lap dance.
yeah. It's a weird situation, and it's if I was watching this and I was just sitting in the audience and I saw some guy get up and start dancing with a guy he was a childhood friend to, like an older childhood, like this is the old man in the neighborhood, and he took a child and then all of a sudden this kid is up there, lap dancing, stroking his chest and stuff. Like, what the hell was going on in that house? But I get it. Like it's almost like that frat boy college thing. Like they dabble and play with the idea of their fluid sexuality, but it's not really as deep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At least that's kind of where I'm I'm headed with that.
I was with it until that confessional was overlaid. I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. We're getting like, we're all getting a little loose, the
Right, right,
alcohol is flowing. But then I was like, oh, he's like a son to you. Oh,
right.
okay.
Yikes.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, like
Yeah.
I'm with Buggus. Like it was funny, but weird too. Like,
Right. You know what it is? The problem, and this might quantify everything, explain everything. We're sober people watching a bunch of drunk people have a good time. We're the sober friend out at the bar who's the designated driver, hanging out with our friends, and they're pounding tequila shots. And we're sitting there like, I don't understand why you're doing this. That's what I think. I mean, that could very well, I won't say that. I think that's what it is, but that very well could be what was going on. Like, he might have been pounding tequila, the booze was flowing. He was like, I'm going to do something crazy, y'all. Get the cameras ready. And then he does this thing, and now he's sitting there like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah. At least it wasn't McKelty. That would have been much more awkward. So.
Yeah, that would have been creepy. That would have been creepy.
Yeah.
Like, if they would have been sitting there with McKelty, like, whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. But we're sober watching it. I'm surely there are some people who don't watch the show sober who were like, yeah, go for it,
right.
Aaron.
Do what you gotta do, player.
Yeah, everyone had their own we all had our own little individual experience with like wherever we were watching this,
Yeah, right. Well, it's the old adage, like, what are famous last words? Watch this. And then that's pretty much right before you lose your job or the trip to the hospital.
Thank you, Lisa McFatter, who says it's so nice seeing Christine happy. We watched her being unhappy for years. Watched Cody tear her down over and over. So happy she has found David. That was a theme of the episode, I thought, was it's just such a relief that Christine got her fairy tale.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And to a degree, and somebody, I want to give them a shout out. I wrote their name down because they made an excellent point when I did my live, and I cannot find it. I guess it's important, but it's not critical.
No, go for it. I'm just loosening my hat. It's way too tight. My head is too big for this.
Yeah, I don't see the name, but one of the people, I'm sorry I don't remember your name, or I can't give you full credit for this. It's not my idea, but it was an excellent point. Just saying that when push comes down to shove, the series itself went to a full cycle because the series of Sister Wives, the show Sister Wives, actually started on a note of a wedding. Like the season finale was Robyn and Cody's wedding. And it's a nice close to the Brown family saga portion of the show that it ended with a wedding. So it's a full cycle, and I think that it's wrapped up in a nice, clean bow where now is the time where TLC, if you're watching this, and I know you are, because Amanda get hit all the time.
I truly do, yes.
Manual copy strikes, and I know Sarah gets crushed. But so I know you guys are watching, but this is the perfect time for you to be able to decide. This is that crossroads where you can decide which direction you want to take the show in. If you want to move past the the locking in, to trying to tie Cody and Robyn into Janelle and Christine's story. There's no reason for you to try to drag this out because it's just, after a while, it's just going to come off as unnatural. Because how often do exes get together at a party setting, aside from like maybe a kid's event? And if you're doing a kid's event, Gwendlyn, if you're doing a kid's event, you're taking away from that child's experience. And that's where the show becomes damaging to the family and damaging to the young ones. Because the only way that Christine and Cody would wind up in a room together is for one of the kids that they share. Mm-hmm. And if they're there for one, like a wedding, funeral, birthday, whatever, then you're taking away from that event so you can get TLC cameras there so you can see the two of them getting argued.
Right. Yeah. So that's the double-edged sword there. Sarcasm for Fun gave us another super. I also want to say I wanted to wish a very happy birthday to Kathy Farron tomorrow. Hope she gets her power back as her B-Day gift and a great day. I wonder what Kathy's superpower is. Like
Kathy. Oh no, she when I heard on my live last Sunday, she lost her power.
Oh, her literal power.
Yeah, her storm knocked the power out.
Yes,
yeah.
I think she's commented a couple of times. Is this in Portland? Well, I don't know. Somebody in Portland lost their power too. Yes. What a great birthday gift. I hope Kathy gets her power back. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But
Kathy Ferran, if you hear, shout out. Shout out, Kathy.
Yo-Yo Finds says, thank you for the super. Wait till Robyn, that was me, not Yo-Yo. The Yo-Yo Finds says, wait till Robyn and Kody sees how happy all of those kids are without them. Robyn hoping she can get herself a David after she leaves Kody. Does this make Kody less appetizing to Robyn? How happy and great everything's going without him?
You know what? If David is financially situated the way I think he may be financially situated, that in itself may make Robyn say, you know what, if she could do that, I could, because it's kind of that, if you could do this, I could do better. So if she can go out and get somebody who's financially set, I go get me a millionaire or billionaire. So I can see that too. I think that's an excellent point, Kathy, Ms. Fines. I think that's an excellent point.
That would be a twist for the future of the show. Robyn tries to outdo Christine, finds another bald head or shaved head man, but this time she's like, what if it turns out that she gets catfished and he's actually like living in a tent down by Coyote Pass or something?
Yeah, right. I'm already on your property, baby. Like, what? I'll be at that picnic table that your father gave you. You know the one.
It'll be romantic, babe. It'll be romantic. It's good for your back to lay on a hard surface.
Yeah, right. Out in the open while rabbit, coyotes, and prairie dogs eat at your feet.
Going Green Mom says, is anyone stupid enough to go after Robyn? Yes. People write like serial killers in jail and are like, I want to marry you while you're in jail for being a serial killer. So you never know.
Well, there's the rule of closest donut for guys. Like, the rule is essentially this: you could have a steak dinner across town, but if there's a donut shop next door, you settle for the donut. Like, it's just not a lot of logic running through a lot of these relationships. So I can see her getting picked up.
I've never had this closest donut. Thank you, Knit My Bit. Y'all are fabulous. Thank you. Oh, James, somebody said Knit My Bit thinks we're fabulous. Thank you.
Knit My Bit.
I would actually take a donut shop over a steakhouse, even if the steakhouse was closer. That's how into donuts I am.
Like, gotta love it. The dough is just so fluffy.
I'm a Danish donut cake. I'm like a baked goods lady. I love me a baked good.
So you say Krispy Kreme, you say?
Exactly. Okay, question for you, James. Since this is the big Christine and David, it was all about them, all celebrating them. Where do you see them down the road, like 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I can see them happy. I don't think that the show is going to last that long for them. I think that because David had already kind of given the indication that he doesn't want to do the show long term. So he's just kind of getting through this portion of it so that they can get on with the rest of their lives. And then once they move on from the show, I think a lot of their lives will focus on their family. And to be honest with you, I would be sad to see them go, but I'll be happy to see them leave from this respect and this respect alone. I think that ultimately, the longer you're on a reality show, the more likely it will rot away into a relationship. It makes your relationship harder because, I'm going to be one of the people criticized. Hello, I will be criticizing you today. So every opportunity, you're going to have somebody coming in making a comment on how your relationship flows. So, but I think that the two of them, they're so into each other. Their relationship and their bond, at least at this point, is so strong. It's interesting to see. And as long as David continues to pour into Christine especially the way that Kody did not, I think that Kody is a damn cheat code. That dude gave him the cheat code because he was such a low standard and such a low bar that David can't do anything but to explode over Kody. in her experience with Cody. So I think they'll be happy. I just hope that they're able to survive the reality portion of their relationship.
James,
What are your thoughts on
after that wedding special, I don't know if it's safe for you to say explode all over
it?
her.
Yeah, right.
Well, I got to get my mind out of the gutter. By the way, I love Daylight Donuts. We've got those. I don't know where all they are, but they are for sure in Oklahoma, and just best donut shop ever. So I had to agree with that there. Sorry, that was Kim Lawrence who said that.
Right.
Yeah, where do I see them? I don't usually, because couples break up a lot these days. I don't usually stick my neck out, but I think they're totally gonna stay together. I think you're right. It seems like an impossible task for David to be able to keep up this level of like energy and
Right.
adoration. But I think he'll do enough. And like you said, Cody set the bar so low. I do genuinely think they're in love with each other. And I think that they're going to like grow old together. They're going to be one of those couples that, there's nothing after each other, in my opinion.
Right.
I think they'll stay together until, till the end.
Well, there is a point too. Like even speaking of like their sexual energy during the course of the show.
This is the dirtiest Sister Wives live stream I've ever done.
Right.
It's all Christine's fault.
Yeah, right. Christine, you did this. You did this. With that energy, I think that she's experiencing something. My guess, I'm not in there, I don't know. But my guess is that she's experiencing something, even though she has 6 kids, I get that. And she was married for 30 years. She's experiencing a level of intimacy with her partner that she has not experienced with anybody else. Just because, the physical action is what it is. But when you have somebody who is excited to be there and into it and love doing what they're doing, it's a completely different experience than somebody who's doing it out of duty and somebody who's acting the way that they feel that they should be acting and acting like a husband. You have somebody who's like, look, a guy walk in like, I guess this Friday night and this is what I got to do, my 2-week thing. That's that time of the month, here we go, roll up the sleeves. That's different than somebody who walks into the kitchen and sees his wife washing dishes like, damn, you know what I mean? This is a whole different experience. And I think that David is more in that latter category, whereas Cody's in that former category.
Oh, so, man, you saying that made me think like, oh gosh, what a drying effect that would have on me. Just like, oh, let me roll up my sleeves and force myself to be into you. Like, oh, I'm so glad she finally left him, because if she stays, if they don't do the show and she is, never feels like she has a way out, she misses out on getting to feel what it's like to be genuinely loved by somebody like David. So, I gave her a little bit of a hard time for being like, oh, everyone get divorced, but it really was the right thing for Christine.
Right. Well, I mean, it's, when you go through something and that experience is good for you, you want everybody to share in that particular experience. And I think that that's where she was. You just wanted, my divorce is great, but not everybody, like for instance, even in that family, because that family is so segmented, even in that family, Janelle's divorce doesn't look like anything like Christine's divorce, because Janelle, even though she gets the divorce, she's no longer with Cody. Her money is tied up with Cody. Whereas Christine, her money was separate. So when she walked away, she was able to have that clean break where my money is my money and you don't have any money. So it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. Poor Janelle. Thank you, Jen or Gen C from California for the super new microphone for James 2024.
Oh, that sounds spotty. Oh, wait. There you go. That might improve it.
Yeah, this season has presented some tech issues for all of us, so we're all, but thank you everyone for contributing and for the super. Here's another from Lisa Anderson. Love your lives, OG3. Feel better, Sarah. Yeah, it's not quite the same. We need our Sarah to get the circle, the trifecta complete. Definitely missing Sarah. What were your favorite parts of the episode, James? Or did anything stick out to you?
Well, actually, I did. There was one part that a lot of it stuck out to me, but a lot of stuff I'm sure stuck out on David too. But dirty joke.
It took me way too long to get that. I was just like, okay.
This show, a lot like this stream, a lot like Sister Wives will be rated at a higher content level.
They're gonna definitely get us on this one.
I'm gonna blame Christine. I'm like Cody. It's your fault, Christine. You did this.
Christine. So horrible.
Right. But one of the things that that really stuck out to me was actually something that happened with McKelty and Aspen that I mentioned earlier. With Aspen doing the speech, and then McKelty had said something slick to her, screamed something out, and Aspen was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm doing the speech." And I thought it was like a very sharp comment, and it demonstrated for me. It let me into a personal dynamic that a lot of the kids have that I always kind of suspected. That these kids are kind of like their interaction with each other is kind of a blood sport. So they go at each other out of love, but they can be a little hard on each other with some of the commentary. And if you have a parent like Robyn who likes to take her kids, put them in bubble wrap, and then put them up on the shelf, for her to have her kids exposed to these kids, I guess it would look like bullying. I guess it would look like they're being hostile and they don't like them. It's not, but that's not the case. That's just how they interact with each other. And I think that part of the problem with them integrating the family the way that they did, forcing Robyn's kids, here are Robyn's kids, accept them as your brothers and sisters. That's it. I'll be back. I'm going to get some bread or whatever. Like the way that they did it, it didn't give them the opportunity to be indoctrinated into the culture of the Brown family. Like learn how the kids interact with each other so they know how to navigate their family. So they essentially set the kids up, Robyn's kids up for failure, which isn't fair to them. You know what I mean? And so even when they start talking about like the text message and everybody was being nasty, the kids are very direct. It's not that they're being nasty, they're just very direct. And if you're not a person who can deal with direct people, then you're gonna get crushed.
I'm sorry, the chat has just started going really fast. So I was looking for somebody in the chat said like, oh, here it is. Scara says feral child first domesticated children. Yeah. You have a point. I totally agree that because like I grew up, it's just me and my sister. We're 18 months apart. Mm-hmm. We did not have like I definitely was the more aggressive one. I was like a tomboy. I would want to sometimes do like ninja play or something, but for the most part, we were not the like rough housing type of siblings. So the first time I saw a family where the kids were like essentially getting in scraps with each other all the time, like the Brown boys in some of those earlier seasons.
Right. Fighting. Uh-oh.
And there's like, there were some bloody scenes, these kids, right. That one scene that was about Gabe's like video game, that was really intense and like it got violent. So I could totally see Robyn feeling like, this is bullying. Don't do it to my kids. But she absolutely made it worse by like kind of keeping them more separate, or not made it worse, but it exacerbated the differences and it the blending didn't go as smoothly because of how different they were being mothered and fathered. Right. Cody is so different with Robyn's kids than he is with the OG's kids. Absolutely.
Right. Well, Cody facilitated the feral nature of the other kids because he wasn't involved with them. So he's like, "Oh, go out and do your things just to survive. Don't let that happen to you." With Robyn's kids, because Robyn is so involved with the kids, he focuses on them heavily, and I think that that's one of the subtle differences. And I think that it also, like you said, it exacerbates the problem. But this is where you have to start asking questions. Is you're talking about blending the families. When you start dating somebody who has children already, has an established family, and you have an established family, you have to ask yourself those questions. It's not just a matter of whether, you and the paramour get along, but do your kids get along? How will your kids integrate into the family? That's part of the question you have. So when Cody was sitting there talking about, oh, I vetted Robyn different. I vetted Robyn hard. Oh, I was so hard I vetted her. Did you really? You know what I mean? And that was the question that I'd always ask, because there's a lot of points where I would look at like, well, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't ask this question. You didn't ask that question. You didn't ask if her kids are going to be able to get along with your kids. And how good is it going to be for them, especially if they're not used to it. If these kids are soft and they, you know what I mean? They can't handle, like they tend to ask kids. They cannot hang out with the Brown kids because those kids is rough. They go at each other.
Speaking of the kids being rough, Barb asked earlier, Barb in the chat, could anyone tell what McKelty said that Aspen said was rude? I listened 3 times and couldn't hear. I think it was when she asked, has everybody had a good time? And everybody screamed out like, yeah. And I believe McKelty screamed out, no, or like something like that. Whatever the initial question Aspen asked, like, was it a great day? Like McKelty was just being a little McKelty and just being like, no. Right. And Aspen responded very well to that. Thank you, Fog Flower, for the super. Amanda, the opera in your videos is my happy place. I love being able to find an opera song that especially won't get me copyright tagged. That's a fun search. Diva Mom J, thank you for the super. I have so enjoyed you 3 peeps and your input. You rock. Please keep collaborating so I can keep watching. Love you 3. Thank you so much, awesome. Diva Mom. I think I suspect we will definitely be collaborating again in the future. We miss Sarah so much. So, this cannot stop. I hope you feel the same. James.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. To be honest with you, it's like I said from the beginning, I've said it a few times, probably even on my stream, that it's rare that you find people who are willing to share a platform, one, but 2, the logic of it is always there, because it doesn't make sense to me that so many folks who just don't get along when the space is so big and there's enough room for everybody. And so many folks are just so disagreeable with one another for really no reason other than, we share an audience, because people who subscribe to me a lot of times will subscribe to you. And I think both of our audiences subscribe to Sarah. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, we're all kind of in the same bucket, and there's really no reason for us to all disagree and not be able to get along, at least have a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And it helps that you and Sarah are just like so fun and you have such good takes and so nice and kind and like, yeah. What would be fun is if we could do something in person at one point. I mean, maybe I'm talking out of my butt, but that would be fun. The fan base stretches wide, so we could find a place. Right.
Yeah, it's worldwide, because you see it like with a few people. You see it from UK. I had some people from Japan and Ireland.
Belgium, Australia. Yeah, there's people Germany. All over.
So it's a global thing. We're a global family. Global family.
Yes, we are. And I am learning every day. Fog Flower says it's called an aria, Amanda. An opera song is an aria. I never said. I'm from Oklahoma, okay? They don't talk about arias when you're getting educated in Oklahoma, okay? But thank you so much, Fog Flower. I, learn something every day. Right. Okay. Let's see.
Well, what was your favorite part of the episode?
My favorite part of the episode was the end. When the dancing started, the energy got up, and outside of just because I was like a little bit looking for that more of that energy in part 1, and I got it in part 2, so I felt like fulfilled in that. But of course, what every other viewer is probably saying, which is seeing the family together again, and the edit discussed this. The edit like blatantly gave us confessionals of who was it, Gabe, saying like it feels like our family is back. Oh, that's gonna hurt Cody too. But that was such a high sort of return to some of the high moments they had earlier in the series, where they were really trying to give us like a feel good story, like, our family is being persecuted, but we're all together and we all love each other. We haven't gotten a plot line like that in a while. It's been doom and gloom for multiple seasons. So I thought that was something that was a feel good moment for the episode, was just all the kids saying it was so great to be together as a family.
Yes. Well, because the first thing is the little shot from Janelle where she talked about the family having its identity. And it's ironic that the family has its identity without the patriarch.
Impossible. Cody's at home watching. Impossible. No.
There's no way you can have an identity without me. I am the identity. I am the
Did you see my knife to the kidney speech? How dare they?
Right. I will prepare another one. The knife and the kidneys part view.
Yeah.
But so you have that, And I also think, like, I think that there's a interesting point that you just mentioned. Whereas in the first one, there was the big to do about us being a united family, us being together, us against the world, us fighting against everyone else who's trying to destroy us. And we're united as the Brown family. And as they had that closing edit from the wedding where everybody was dancing and having a good time and showing that energy, it was revealed later that the family was not together. The family was not united. So now you have a situation where you have a family who truly is united and truly is together and excited to be around one another. And not only are they excited about being around one another, they're there by choice. Whereas before it seemed like they were there by happenstance and by circumstance. Whereas now they're choosing to be a part of this family and participate in this event and to have that same energy. And to be honest with you, if you do a comparison between the again, I like comparisons, but if you do a comparison between the first season and watching the wedding energy and the energy that was at this wedding, it's completely different. When you see the energy of Kody, everything is about Kody. Even as Kody dances, one of the things that you notice, or one of the things I noticed about when Kody dances with Christine, he's jerking the hell out of her, and it's all about showing off for him to show that he can twirl her around and he's manipulating the situation. Whereas when you watch, again, it's indicative of their relationships. When you watch David and Christine dance, it's more of a mutual thing where the two of them are operating in concert to one another. One of the, I guess, people with the dirty concept, I guess, one of the people in my last chat had said that you can tell how somebody is in the boudoir by how they act on the dance floor. I've heard that before. But I think that it's
no, Kody, no. You know where
yeah,
my
right?
mind just went. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, that poor woman. Oh.
Come here, girl. I'm gonna tear you to pieces. I'm gonna tear you apart.
Oh no. I'm terrified.
Yeah, right. Who you tell? It's scary business. But I think that it's not just the way you move. Like that's where it's always kind of implied, like how you move. But I also think that there's a point where you can say what your motivation is when you go into it. When Kody goes into a lot of his dance moves, Robyn even said it like, why don't we go out dancing? Kody invites her out dancing. Well, I don't want to be the pole and you just kind of dance around me. What that tells me is that when Kody dances or he operates in that way, it's all about Kody, all about Cody's pleasure, all about Kody having a good time. So if you transfer that over to the boudoir, then it's all going to be about him. What's a good time for him? What's good for him? What he enjoys. If you look at conversely, if you look at David and Christine, if he's trying to meet her needs, again, this is where it becomes more intense for the physical aspect of their relationship. Just to keep it cleaner, but the physical aspect of their relationship, if he's all about her needs and meeting her needs, that's a completely different experience. So I think that the difference, like one of the energy, like I said, the energy is different. And so if he's in there for himself, that's one sort of energy, and it's kind of very frenetic energy. Whereas you have even with Christine and David dancing in the middle, the Brown family mosh pit wasn't a bunch of individuals jumping around and doing their own thing. The Woolley family mosh pit or the flash dance was very unified. And even the way people were moving, people were swaying, and they were all focused. The energy was focused on the people who were getting married, which was Christine and David. Completely different.
I think we froze, or am I frozen on your screen, James?
Yeah, you're frozen on my screen.
Okay, you're
Am I
frozen on
your
mine too.
screen?
Yeah, you're frozen on mine too, but it might be. Are you not frozen on your end?
No, no, not at all.
Okay, I think it's my internet browser. It's like doing this weird thing. It's going gray. Let me
Uh-oh.
see if I can get. Oh wait, here we go. Can you see me?
No, you just blacked out.
Okay. All right. Let me try something. You'll have to hold the fort down.
You know what? It is the Kody Kremlins in full effect. So please pardon our technical difficulties. Yeah, I experience this all the time. It's insane. Like how this always happens. Like I started my first stream, and my first stream, everything went well, good times, a lot of fun. From that point forward, I would have sound, no picture, picture, no sound. So it is what it is. But let me check out some of these super chats. I can't put them up on the screen, but I will read them. Lisa McFatter with the $5 super chat. It's so nice seeing Christine happy. We watched her being unhappy. I think we read that already. For years, watched Kody tear her down over and over. So happy she loved and found David. All right, she's back.
Am
She's
I back? I don't. This.
Yes.
Those Kremlins, they're getting me. Thanks for holding it down.
No
Man,
worries. No worries.
always something. I thought, oh, it's going smooth, and then no, it stopped going smooth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you get sarcasm? Oh, okay. No, that worked.
Molly Mole said a little bit while ago in the chat, where the hell was Gwendlyn? There was a lot of talk online when the wedding went down in October, and then also a lot of talk recently after the wedding specials aired about Gwendolyn's absence. Now, her official stance was like schoolwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you buy that?
Well, I actually had heard something a little bit different. Like initially, I heard that it was schoolwork, but from my understanding, they mentioned it a few times. Like you got to pick up like the little breadcrumbs that TLC will let leak. From what I understand, initially, when they talk about Kody meeting up with David for the first time, and he said, "Yeah, I stood there and talked to him for 15 minutes or so," and blah blah. And Robyn really talked to him. That was at Gwendolyn's wedding ceremony. And from my understanding, Gwendlyn has signed some contracts for TLC to be able to tape at her ceremony, which is what I was talking about with the whole reality show thing and impactful on the family without even thinking about it. But what happened was Gwendlyn had allowed TLC to tape. This was going to be the first time that Kody and David Woolley were going to be in the same place. They come together, and instead of them focusing on the magic of Gwendolyn's day, they focus more on how Kody and Christine and Kody and David got along. So it took away from her special day. As a result, when they moved into the wedding for Christine, Christine had to have, because she was filming for TLC, TLC wanted everybody who was going to be on camera or at the service to sign a contract. And from my understanding, Gwendolyn refused to sign another TLC contract. And because she wouldn't sign the contract, she couldn't come to the wedding.
Wow. That fills in the blanks. I, like some others in the chat, have been suspicious about the schoolwork thing. What are your thoughts on, because like that brings me, the next question after that is like, okay, I totally get where she's coming from. She feels like, you know, her day is being diminished by the show and what they choose to focus on. But the reality TV fan in me feels like totally valid that she has these feelings, but I would maybe expect that they're going to, because the show is about the adults. I mean, the kids have had a huge part in it, but what the plot lines that are going on right now, you know, the days of the plot line being, oh, the kids are getting married. Like we've seen a lot of weddings of the kids, and it's not quite the centerpiece of the show that it might have been when Maddie and McKelty were getting married. So I would have maybe expected the focus to be on other things in addition to, especially considering while it was happening, it was a little bit more fresh, all the Christine leaving, the OGs leaving stuff. But I don't know. Do you think I'm being a little too harsh?
No. Well, because I think that if you balance it out, I think that both things can be true. I don't think it's exclusionary. Just from the respect of, as a reality fan, you expect to see this, and being a person who is on a reality show, you would have to expect that the show is going, because it's show business. It's not just the show; it's show business. So they're going to do things that are good for their business. It has nothing to do with your best interest or your health or your mental health or you celebrating your day. If your day can bring them more viewers, they'll celebrate your day. If Cody getting into a fist fight and David with David at your wedding and tearing up your cake and you know what I mean and ruining your whole day, and that brings in more viewers. They'll pour alcohol down their throats and then let them have at each other. Start throwing knives on the floor, broken bottles at them. But that's just how it kind of works. So it's to be expected. Now, with that being said, I think that the dynamics, as you had mentioned, I never really thought about it until you just said it. We've already seen the kids get married. And when we watch the kids get married, if you look at the time and place where they were getting married, Aspen, Maddie, McKelty, when they were getting married in a time where there wasn't a whole lot of things going on per se on the show. But Gwendlyn gets married at a time with the most tumultuous time in the show, where you have Christine leaving the family. You have Janelle getting in arguments with Cody and they cussing each other out. You have Mary coming to the point where she's understanding that she's about to leave the family. And all of those points are drivers for the show and the show's popularity. And Gwendlyn getting married doesn't rank for the show, doesn't rank for TLC. So they use Gwendlyn. If anything, they'll use Gwendlyn's marriage or her union as a vehicle to get Cody and David in the same room so that they can have that big confrontation. Because reality shows, like it or not, are all about the confrontations. And so, it's unfortunate. Like, I feel for Gwen because nobody wants to have their special day as a vehicle for a fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're getting married to the love of your life, and this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you have to make it a stage for your dad and your stepdad to be able to cuss each other out. It's just not fun.
Yeah. So you see both sides too. Like, nobody wants that to steal focus, but you're filming a reality show. And James, you are totally right. It is all about the conflict. Even on a TLC Sister Wives show, like, they need some conflict. So it's to be expected. Thank you again, Sarcasm for Fun.
Right.
You are just being so generous today. Putting this into the universe, more lives from Amanda's 2024. Don't fret. Robert will help Photoshop Gwen in the wedding photos. She's amazing. Robyn's never going to live down that creepy Photoshopped, wipe out Christine's kids and put your own in. And like that, that's never going away for Robyn. That's following her.
That was completely inappropriate. That was completely inappropriate. I know, universe, would you be like, could you imagine you start dating somebody and then they take a picture of you and maybe your ex or whatever the case may be, and they scrub that person and like, oh, this was a special place, my first time going to Greece or something, something like that. And they scrub that person out and put themselves in a place like, you haven't even been out the state. What are you talking about? Like, we've never been to Greece. It was a special time. No, it wasn't.
It takes a special kind of person who doesn't see that as creepy and is like, let me put this on a reality show for everyone to see. Okay.
And make it a big present. Like, it was like, Cody, we have a special gift for you. Like, whoa. And it would have been the craziest part about it. It's like, this is you doing too much. The craziest part about it is if she would have took a picture of the kids when they first met Cody, and they would have put Cody and overlaid him in a picture with the kids when they first met, at the age that they were when he first came into their lives, the age he was, whether he was wearing glasses, whatever his deal was at the time, the crazy hair he had at the time, and put that into a picture, it would have been more special than what she did. Because he's not there, you know what I mean? He wasn't around when they were babies. So it's disrespectful not only to Cody, it's disrespectful to the kids, it's disrespectful to the kid's father, it's disrespectful to the wives, and it's most certainly disrespectful to Christine and her children. Yeah. Like, that shit is crazy.
Like, are you surprised, Robyn, that Christine had issues with you when you look at the things you're doing? You're literally, and Christine says early on, I'm afraid I'm being replaced, and like, no wonder.
Right. Well, she didn't have issues with her before. She certainly got issues with your ass now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Oh man.
Did you get a diva mom?
Let me see here.
Oh yeah, you did.
I've enjoyed. Yes, I think I did. Thank you so much for that, super diva mom. I'm not used to having to be the one who highlights the comments. So if I missed you, please forgive me. I'm trying to get through everybody's supers and also, just hit some regulars up too. We really appreciate everyone who gives. That's so generous, and you don't have to. So thank you so much. Now I can't find it to take it off the screen. See, Sarah's way better at this than me.
Yeah, it's you always take for granted, like, oh, that's easy, no problems. And the next thing you know, like, this is so hard. I don't know how she does.
I know. It's like you have to do a bunch of things at once.
Right. That's what Cody was saying about Christine. You know what I mean? Oh, it's easy. I don't know what she complained. He literally, actually, now that I think about it, he literally said that when he was on the porch in season 17. He said, you were all about the kids, and that's easy. But it's about these relationships. Like, the kids are easy. Clearly, you've never done kids before.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have said that any clearer, that you've never dealt with your children, especially your kids. Your kids is wild. So there's no way in the world you sat in a room with these kids for more than 5 minutes.
Right.
Unless you got them all riled up for the first 5 minutes, and when they started getting out of control, like, yo, get your kids.
Thank you, Rachel, so much for the super. That's so kind of you. As we start to wind down the live, was there anything else you wanted to touch on, James, that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
I just want to give a shout out to Kathy Ferrer real quick, because I see she's in the house.
Girl.
So. Yeah, happy birthday, Kathy.
Yeah, I starred one of Kathy's comments. Hold on, this was hilarious. Kathy Ferran, birthday girl, who wants a spaz doing the nasty? Not me. That was back when we were talking about. James said your dance moves can indicate what you're like in the boudoir.
Yeah, right. How you work things out.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, please.
I was just going to say, I thought it was a really fun way to end the season. I think this is the end. Are we going to get more content every time I think it's ending? It's
yeah, right. Like the mob, they keep pulling you back in. Like, I think that for the most part, TLC has to do something with regard to the sister wives. Like, if you guys are listening, which I know I'm pretty sure you are, I will be immensely insulted if you rushed the talk back and the look back out during the holiday season, and then you rush the wedding special out right after that, and then you go months and months and months with nothing. Like, there's no reason in the world why you compacted that all down, unless you have something brewing for the summer that you want to do between the seasons. If you didn't, it's a complete mismanagement. Like, you guys are dropping the ball, like, big time. So yeah. I'm, in a way, it's kind of, it'll be nice to maybe get a little respite from the sister wives stuff, but because they're it was such a adrenaline fueled season, just because there was so much going on, there was so much emotionality, and I know that I heard that Christine and David wanted to take a little bit of a break before they got back into filming for season 19, just because there was so much stuff going on and they have to kind of get themselves settled, which I can completely appreciate. But at the same time, they have to have something to justify the way they did it, especially being as though they kept so many people out of the loop with regard to the look back and the talk back when they were airing, where you could watch it at, and all that. Like, it was disrespectful as far as I'm concerned.
No, I agree. Thank you so much, Deborah Tanner, for the super. I agree. The way that we are accustomed to, like, what have I heard about you lately? Like, with how quickly social media, we learn everything and we know about everyone. It is interesting that they're choosing, if that's what's going to happen, to go like radio silent for a few months, because the fan base will find other things to cling on to. Although this fan base is pretty crazy. I think like they could take like a 3-year break and we would be like, oh, it's been your 3 years. We're back. We're ready. Thank you, Bree. Bree says the way Cody is going to be an absolute menace in season 19. Bree doesn't think the PR campaign is going to continue next season. What do you think, James?
I think that it's going to break. Like, because I think that if he's not going, if he doesn't, especially during the time when they take this break, if it doesn't work, Robyn and Kody aren't strategists. Like they don't understand like the long game. So if they're not getting that immediate like, oh, they're so amazing, Cody's so understanding, such an open-minded person. If they don't get that response in the first book, especially after the wedding display, if they don't get that right away, then Cody's gonna be right back with the I guess I'm be the devil I always thought I was. Like, it's not much of a stretch for you to be a bad guy, dude. Like you're stretching your character out. Like nobody's surprised.
Everybody's saying in the chat that it was actually Gwen's engagement party. Thank you, D.
Okay,
A couple other people said that. So it was the engagement party, but there was so much drama around it. It feels like a wedding with the drama.
Right. I think it was the engagement. I might have misspoke on that.
No worries.
It was the engagement party.
That's a good point, James. Kody and Robyn, they need that immediate feedback. And there's no way, like, I'm not buying it. A lot of people aren't buying their shtick. So I do see a world where he's immediately back to like angry, blaming everyone else, like even worse than ever. Because like, how long can you keep, do you remember the season? It was during their tree ceremony, their recommitment. Do you remember when they were doing photos and he was like, pose for the photo. And he was like going a little bit crazy. Like you can only keep
look down the camera.
Like, oh, you gotta break the camera with that crazy, like, what are you doing? I wonder if he can only do whatever his PR person is telling him for so long. Eventually, the real Kody is going to spring forth, and we can only hope for more pre-planned, horrifically dramatic, knifed in the kidney moments. But yeah, I don't see him keeping up the like, let me say everything I was supposed to say all along, but like did the opposite for like 4 seasons. Like, how long can he keep that up?
Right, exactly. I think he's overwhelmed by his own frustration. That's what crushes him out.
Yes. Thank you. Comments from Knox.
Right.
All right. So I think we can just about wrap this up. Oh, we got another super from Hyper Cactus. Yeah. James doing Kody and Robyn's voices is everything so good. Love it. Do you want to pull us? Do you want to get us out of this live with doing something in a Kody or a Robyn?
Oh yeah. Right. What did he say? But you didn't help with these people. You didn't try to have a relationship with these people.
He's so exasperated. It's like his face is going to burst off of his head. He's like, you never tried with these people. Like he's been taking dictation classes for his acting or something.
Oh, my recent favorite one. It was the commitment and the covenant that I gave to you. What are you doing?
This
like every
is
season,
the special promise I told you 30 years ago when we already knew I wasn't in love with these women. Like, oh, the cameras are there. You're giving it away, Kody. Jen's like,
exactly.
I gotta tell Mary. Like,
remember when I was talking crap about these other women? Like, why did you just come out and say that? Remember we were sitting around talking shit about these two? You know what I mean? Mary especially, but definitely Christine and Janelle also included. Like, you know what I mean? So and the fact that he's so exasperated about it, and it was the foundation of their relationship. How's the foundation of your relationship going to be how bad my relationship is?
I won't make you sing. People are requesting you sing. So, James, you are kind of amazing. You have many talents.
A wild man. That's what it is. I'm here just sipping on tequila too. Like, no.
Tequila party.
You're right.
All right. Well,
the good thing I was at the reception.
I know they should. Oh, they would be lucky to see us there in all our glory. Right.
I'm telling you, you definitely wear that outfit with the top hat and the blazer. You fit right in. You know what I mean?
We would have fun. Yes. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Of course, we missed Sarah.
Yeah. But she will be back, though. She will be back.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Little under the weather tonight.
Yes. Next time we do this, it'll be the OG3 and in all our glory. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody in the chat, everybody watching later on, everybody commenting. And yeah, this is great. Make sure you subscribe to James, My Take on Reality. And we will
Reality Amanda and Reality Squad. Just hit the whole thing, get the whole.
Make sure you're subscribed to all 3 channels. We have so much fun doing this, and we appreciate all of your support.
Yeah.
So everybody stay warm. The country, America, has turned into like a frozen tundra right now. So it was like negative
it's finally
9.
winter time.
Yeah,
right.
Winter is here. It is here.
So it's late, but it's present.
Yeah, it came late and it came hard. So
right.
Okay, that should.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, that's perfect to end the dirtiest episode of Sister Wives we ever live streamed about. So yeah, on that note, thank you, everyone.
All right.